So this video is all about what are the differences between data and information. You'll get to know about what is in by data and what is in by information. So data and information. So what is meant by data? So as we all know, data has got no meaning. It lacks context, that is no meaning. If you look at this information, it has got meaning, it has got some context. Why? Because, so let's see an example. So here I present the example. 20 March MAR 1950, John US 200-64. So if you look at this words, there are numbers 20, 1950, 200, 64, US, John, Mar. So what are these? Does this have any kind of meaning, proper meaning, clear meaning? No. You can't say what is 6, what is 4 clearly. It is not described clearly. So if you look at this information, John was born on 20 March 1950 in US and weighs about 200 pounds. With height 6 feet 4 inches. So this has got meaning, this has got no context. So this is why this is called as data. So if you look at this data, this is completely unstructured. So if you look at this information, this is completely structured. So why data is completely unstructured? Why? Because, so if you look at this content, if you look at this 20 March 1950 John, is this represented in any form of graphs, charts? Nothing. It's not represented in any form of graphs or chart. If you look at this, I'm going to convert this data to in a structured format. So just look at this. I'm going to create a table. So if you look at this, there is name, date of birth, 2, country name, 3, height, weight, 4, 5. There should be 6 columns with serial number, 6 columns and a row. There should be a 6 column. I'm going to create a 6 column and 2 rows. Yeah, serial number, name, date of birth, birthplace, along with weight and height. Yeah, so the name is John and his date of birth is 30th March 1950 and he is from USA and he weighs about 300 pounds with 6 feet 5 inches. Yeah, this is how I represent in a tabular format with rows and columns. This is completely structured and hence this is known as information and this is known as data. This is completely unstructured with table. It's not represented any kind of table or graph or pie charts. If you look at this is completely structured. Why? Because it's represented in the form of rows and columns. So I hope you have understood why this data is known as structured. Data is unstructured and information is structured. The next thing is, so data is unprocessed, information is processed. So why we say data is processed? Why? Because unprocessed means it doesn't have undergone few operations like sorting, correcting the errors and mistakes, removing the duplicates. So this has got, so I'll just look at an example. I'll give an example. So just look at this. John 30 March 1950 America. So if you look at this content, if you look at this data, have you found out anything that is have you found out anything from this data? Yes, you have found out something unique. So the thing is, there are duplicates that are found in this data. John is repeated twice. This is known as redundant data. This has to be removed. And if you look at this, there is a mistake of this spelling called March. It is written in the form of MACH. It should be MARCH. That is a one mistake. And the third mistake is, there is a grammatical mistake by the word America. They have used the underscore. It has to be removed. So hence this is unprocessed, because this has not undergone the operations like filling the missing values, removing the duplicates. So if you look at this information, clearly, John was born on 30 March 1950 in America. If you look at this information, I have this information removed the duplicate word John and represented in one single word. If you look at this MACH, it was corrected as MARCH, and if you look at this America, the underscore was removed and it was represented in the right format. Hence this is processed, this is unprocessed. So this is how data and information are have been described. So I hope you have understood the differences. There are a few more differences that we need to understand. So this data is completely scattered. You can say it's messy. Why? Because it's presented. So I'll just give an example for this. John 30, okay, 300, okay, 1950, 6 feet March. So it is scattered and messy. I have given this word there. This word is called scattered and messy. Why? Because this is scattered. Scattered means present in different places. Presence of words in different kinds of places. Why? Because you can see this. So it has to be in this format actually. So if you look at this information, this is completely well organized. It's completely organized in a meaningful manner. If you look at this information, John was born on 30 March 1950 in USA. So, and his height 6 feet. So if you look at this is scattered. It's completely, though 30 is present in one place and March is present in another place, year is present in one place, country is present in place, different places. I have this. If you look at this information, is completely organized. Yeah, this is how we differentiate between data and information. So there are a few more things that we need to understand. Yeah, so data is completely independent. Why? Because so it's the initial data that we have created. We have not taken this data from any place. We have not taken this. It's completely independent. It doesn't depend on anywhere. Like what I mean to say is it's not secondary, it's completely primary. So we call as primary data independent. Why we call primary? Base data, we can also say that's base data. So why? Because this is the data that is not derived from anything. This is the initial born data, hence this also be called as atomic data. It's born data, the place where data is born. It's not taken from anywhere, it's not derived from anywhere. So if you look at this information, this is completely dependent. So why we say dependent? Because from information we derive. So from data we derive the information. Without data we can't derive anything. So why? Because I'll give an example for you. Yeah, John 30 1950 20. So this is the person, details of a person. So this is data. So if you look at this data, if you look at here information, John was born on March 1950 in the country USA. So if you look at this independent, is independent. So here that complete data is derived with the meaning. This data is completely derived from this information. This is information. This information completely derived from this data. So hence we say it is dependent. Why? Because it is derived. It is extracted from data. So remember, information is derived and extracted from data. So it is dependent in nature and data is independent in nature. Okay, so I hope you understood. So with this data is known as raw facts. As we all know, this data is raw facts. With this data we can't make any decisions. There are no advantage for this because this is unstructured, unorganized, right? With this data we can't take any kind of decisions like predictions, any decisions, right? Decision we can't take because it's completely unstructured, unprocessed, right? So just give an example. I'll give an example. Like here I see John 30 1950 years. So I have got a I've got a checkup. So I have got a requirement from a client to check whether John is eligible for vote or not. So I don't know what are these numbers 30, 19, 50 properly. So I have derived information from this data like this. Example, John was born on 30 March 1950 and his age was nearly 80 years old. So he is eligible for the vote. And he is eligible for vote. So I can take decision because it was clearly in this information. I can take any kind of decision because this is clearly represented. The age was represented, date of birth was represented clearly. So I can take decision. Yes, he is eligible for vote. I can make predictions. I can say, I can give the judgment that he is eligible for vote. So here you can see there is no kind of clear explanation, description. Here clear context, clear information is there, so I can take decision here. I can't take decision here. So there are a lot more disadvantages for information. So for this, but for data, we can't make any kind of business decisions like business profitable. No profits can be seen because we can't take any decisions, right? So here you can get proper profits. We can make profits from this information. Yeah, that's why it's very important. Information is very important. You take profitable decisions can be taken. So this data alone, it's not worthy. Alone. So with alone this data is not worthy, but with information it becomes really worthy because we'll get to know about clearly we'll get to know about what is information, right? So we'll get to know it's worthy and it's useful for business purposes to take judgments, decisions. That's useful, okay? And there are a lot more differences that we need to discuss. Those are so we can't able to get any kind of knowledge and wisdom. Yeah, that's taking decisions and getting knowledge. So but information we can get. So here no knowledge and wisdom, remember. Here we can get a lot of knowledge is being derived from information and wisdom. Applying the knowledge we perform this kind from this information. Yeah, I hope you understood. So this data has got a lot of things to be known. Has got a lot of things to be known. So this data is unreliable and this information is reliable. So what is unreliable and reliable? Reliable means it's trustworthy and it is accurate and complete data. It's completely accurate and reliable. High quality data. Yeah, because it has undergone all processing steps. The final extraction is information. Hence we call information is reliable and data is unreliable in nature because it is not accurate. That's why it's not quality. It's not got high quality. It has got so many errors and process and structure. So we call this unreliable and information is reliable. Yeah, I hope you have understood clearly. So there is one more difference, and this data is further divided into two types known as qualitative and quantitative. But this information can't be divided further, cannot be divided, further, because it's the last step, last thing that we extract from the data. From after processing all the things, the final thing that we get is information, and from that information we can't able to further divide. But data is divided into two things known as qualitative, and the second thing is quantitative. So I hope you have understood what is meant by what are the differences between data and information. In the next coming videos you will get to know what is meant by qualitative and quantitative data and what are the types of data. Thank you.